You know, it's amazing to think about how much video we watch these days, right? I mean, everywhere you look, it's video, video, video.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. I mean, just think about how we get news or learn something new or connect with people these days. It's all about video.
Video first, that's for sure. So that's what we want to dig into today with you. You know all the key strategies and trends that are going to shape video in 2025.
Right.
And we've looked at a bunch of different sources to get here, including some really insightful stuff from the Content Marketing Institute.
Yeah.
Really, just to get a handle on what's working right now when it comes to video.
Well,
So our goal is to kind of cut through the noise and give you the need to know information so you can hit the ground running with video.
exactly.
Okay, so where do we even begin? I think one of the most obvious trends is the rise of short form video.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. I mean, think about it. It's everywhere we look. TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts.
It's taken ever.
It's like they've completely changed what people expect. It's all about fast-paced visual content these days. Absolutely.
So besides just observing this trend, like what's really behind this dominance?
Well, I think part of it has to do with, well, attention spans, right?
Yeah.
You know, in the digital age, we're bombarded with information all the time, so we've kind of been trained to process things super quickly. And short-form video feeds right into that.
Instant gratification.
Exactly. But it's also about the creativity that comes from having to work within those short time frames.
Oh, interesting.
Brands have to be really concise and innovative to tell their stories in such a short amount of time, and that often leads to some super engaging content.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's clear that people are hungry for this type of content. One statistic we saw said 89% of consumers actually want to see more videos from brands.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's huge.
Yeah, and I think what's even more telling is that 52% of consumers are more likely to share a video than any other type of content.
Yeah.
So that really highlights how shareable video is and the potential it has to reach a ton of people organically. Right. And it's not just about people passively watching for a few seconds either. Like the retention rates for video are insane.
Yeah.
People remember something like 90% of a message if it's delivered through video.
Right.
Compare that to text, which is only around 10%.
That's a big difference.
Talk about a strong argument for visual communication.
Yeah, totally. And this shift to short form video has really solidified vertical video as the standard.
That's a good point.
It's not just a niche thing for certain platforms anymore. Most people naturally hold their phones vertically when they're using them, so it just makes sense to optimize for that.
Uh-huh.
If your video isn't designed for vertical viewing, you risk losing a big chunk of your audience before they even start watching.
It's true. And we're even seeing this vertical trend pop up in places you might not expect. Like
Yeah.
even LinkedIn is putting more and more emphasis on video content in their feeds.
Absolutely. It really shows you how much influence short form video has.
Yeah. And another thing that's interesting is how different generations prefer different platforms. Gen Z and Alpha are all over TikTok and Snapchat, while Gen X and baby boomers are still on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
But YouTube seems to be the exception, right? Like it's popular across pretty much every age group.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So it's not just about focusing on short form. Like YouTube shows that you have to be a lot more strategic depending on who you're trying to reach.
Right.
One size fits all just doesn't cut it anymore.
Yeah, you need to tailor your content to the specific platform where your audience hangs out, but also to the type of content they expect to see there.
So what you're saying is a super polished, long-form video might work great on YouTube.
Right.
But on TikTok, you might need something shorter and snappier.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got short form, we've got vertical, we've got platform specifics.
Uh-huh.
What about strategies? Like what are we seeing that's working really well in 2025?
Well, the strategies that seem to be winning right now are all about finding the right balance between authentic human connection and using AI-powered tools.
So let's start with the human side of things. Let's talk about authenticity. We hear that word a lot.
No.
But what does it actually look like in video content?
Well, research has shown that something like 90% of consumers think brand authenticity is super important when they're deciding what to buy.
Wow.
People can spot a fake message a mile away, and it can actually hurt a brand's credibility.
Yeah.
Like in a world of overly produced content, people are craving something real, you know?
Yeah. I see brands trying to be more real all the time online.
Right. And a brand that's doing a great job of this is Duolingo.
Oh, yeah.
Their videos are often quirky and kind of unpolished, but they feel genuine.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's working for them. Their audience loves it.
Yeah.
It really shows that you don't always need a huge budget or perfect production to make a video that connects with people.
Duolingo is a great example of how a brand's personality can really shine through in video.
Yeah, totally. And authenticity isn't just for fun, lighthearted content either. Like even in the B2B world, you have companies like Apollo.io who are killing it with short educational videos on LinkedIn.
Interesting.
They're tackling the specific pain points that their target audience has, and they're doing it in a concise, valuable way without getting bogged down in fancy production.
So it's all about providing real value.
Exactly.
So whether it's through humor and relatability or direct, actionable advice, the key is to build a genuine connection with your viewers.
Right.
Okay, so let's switch gears now and talk about AI.
Okay.
How is artificial intelligence changing how we create and use video?
Well, AI is already having a big impact, and it's only going to get bigger. We're seeing all sorts of new platforms pop up that use AI to help people create videos. Platforms like PlayPlay, for example.
Okay.
These tools can help with things like coming up with storyboards and scripts, editing videos, even creating AI voiceovers.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, think about how much faster and easier that could make video creation.
Yeah, and it opens up so many possibilities for businesses that want to do more with video.
Absolutely. I mean, AI could take over a lot of the more tedious and time-consuming tasks involved in video production.
Exactly.
So human creators can focus on the bigger picture stuff, like the overall message and the story they're trying to tell.
Right. But I think it's important to remember that even though AI can make things more efficient and open up new creative possibilities, it's still the human element that really matters.
Right.
AI should be a tool, not a replacement for human creativity and connection.
So it's about using AI to enhance what humans can do, not to replace them.
Yeah, exactly.
Another trend I've noticed is how many people watch videos without sound, especially on their phones.
Yeah, silent viewing. That's definitely a thing.
So how does that change how we approach video creation?
It means we have to start thinking about video in a whole new way. Captions aren't optional anymore. They're essential.
They are.
And you have to be really strategic about using animated text and visuals to communicate your message clearly without relying on sound.
Right. It's almost like you need a whole separate visual language.
Exactly. And speaking of tailoring content to specific needs, we're also seeing a rise in something called hyper-personalized video.
Hyper-personalized video, what is that?
It's basically creating video messages that are tailored to individual customers or specific groups of people based on their interests, behavior, or industry.
I can see how that would be incredibly effective. Like, if you can speak directly to someone's specific needs and situation, they're much more likely to pay attention.
Right. And when you're thinking about video metrics, it's not enough just to look at vanity metrics like views and likes.
Yeah, those don't tell the whole story anymore.
Exactly. You need to dive deeper.
Okay.
Look at things like shares, saves, average watch time, and maybe most importantly, drop-off rates.
Right, the moments when people stop watching.
Yeah, those metrics give you so much more insight into how people are actually engaging with your video.
They tell you what's resonating and what's not working.
Right.
So it's about understanding not just if people are watching, but how they're watching and when they lose interest.
Exactly. And that brings us to one final point. Successful video strategies are always evolving.
It's not a one and done kind of thing.
No, not at all.
Okay.
The most successful creators are constantly experimenting, analyzing data, and adjusting their approach based on what they learn.
So it's a continuous process of making videos, seeing what works, and making adjustments.
Exactly. The video landscape is constantly changing, so you have to be willing to adapt.
Okay, so let's recap. We've talked about short-form video, vertical video, and the importance of understanding platform preferences. We've also discussed the power of authenticity in building connections, the role of AI in video creation, designing for silent viewing, hyper-personalization, and tracking meaningful metrics.
Yeah, it's a lot to consider.
It is, but I think the main takeaway is that video at its core is all about human connection.
That's right.
Whether it's a TikTok that makes you laugh or a YouTube video that teaches you something new, it's all about connecting with your audience on a human level.
Absolutely.
And it seems like being adaptable, being authentic, and using the right tools are going to be essential for anyone who wants to create successful videos.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. This has been really insightful.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
I think it's clear that video is only going to get more important, and those who understand its power are going to be the ones who succeed. And for anyone who wants to learn more about this stuff, there's a ton of great resources over at Studio 86.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone.